Steve Kerr handing over the keys, but just for a night. During timeouts in the game, Kerr handed his clipboard over to Andre Iguodala, David West, Draymond Green, and as you just heard, Stephen A. Suns guard Troy Daniels felt it was very disrespectful. Do you agree?
My response is no, but more importantly, who cares what he thinks? Who cares what anybody on the Phoenix Suns think? They stink right now. They're 18-40. Thank God Devin Booker wasn't a part of this game. He didn't play because I wouldn't wish that on him because he's a baller. He can ball. The fact of the matter is that Steve Kerr did it because he was able to do it because of the level of competition that they were going up against. They get no sympathy from me if you're the Phoenix Suns. I'm sorry. Get a better organization. Get a better team and then come talk to me. Eric Bledsoe is gone. Greg Monroe is gone. Devin Booker is injured. And so when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, give me a break. But I will say this. I appreciate where Steve Kerr was coming from. There's going to be some people that believes he was grandstanding, obviously. They believe it's much ado about nothing. And you know what? Let him do something like that in the playoffs and the finals and then come talk to us. That's their mentality. That is not my mentality. When I watched what Steve Kerr did last night, the reason why I had no problem with it is because of his explanation. He acknowledged, look, they're not hearing me. They haven't been hearing me for quite some time. They're tired of hearing my voice. I'm tired of hearing my voice. That's a very valid point that you don't hear too many people in positions of authority acknowledge and admit, particularly publicly. Usually it's something that they try to disguise or gloss over, or they try to overcome it by being more forceful and a bit, just a bit more incendiary if necessary at particular moments in time. That's not what he was doing here. He's saying we're the reigning defending world champions. We won 2 of the last 3 finals. We've been to 3 consecutive NBA finals. We've played a lot of basketball games along the way. And guys can get tired of hearing your voice. So you have to remind them of the fact that this is their team, that they are ultimately the ones accountable for our success or lack thereof. So let's put them right in the lines then, and let's let them coach and get more actively involved. Because maybe then they'll have even a deeper appreciation, not just for what the coaches do, but for what we're trying to get them to do. And I think that it was a wise move on Steve Kerr's part, and I had no problem with it whatsoever, Max.
It's not disrespectful at all. Steve Kerr is trying to get his guys going. The Warriors have their eyes on the prize. They're not thinking about the Phoenix Suns. They're trying to get the ship right. They haven't been playing up to their standards, and it's been a little bit. And Steve Kerr understands that it becomes, as they say, white noise. It gets drowned out when you hear the same voice saying the same thing year over year, and it's largely to the same cast of characters, the same people, the same players. So he wanted to see, hey, maybe a variety of reasons, not just a new voice. Maybe look what it is to coach, guys. Look at it from the other side. Whatever his specific reason, Kerr thought that this was a good move to get his team going. They are trying to win a championship eventually. Now, would he do this against an elite team? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe he looks at the Suns and says, it's one of the worst teams in the NBA. I can do it against this team. Suns have terrible ownership. I get on Dan Gilbert a lot, and he deserves it. I get on Jim Dolan a lot, and he's just the worst. But Sarver's right up there with those guys, or down there with those guys. He's terrible. And the Phoenix Suns is a result of, fish rots from the head down. And what they have is a rotten fish head. That's a rotten organization as a result. And they're no good year after year. And so, yeah, Steve Kerr can say, yeah, that's a win. I can do it against that team. If that's the case, what do you tell Phoenix? Get your game up. That's not bad sportsmanship like some high school team that's blowing another team out, running up the score. That's completely different. That's a team working on themselves. And if they use you as a kind of trial horse to work something against, and you don't like it because it points out that you're not good enough, too bad. They're not thinking about you. Steve Kerr's job is not to protect your feelings about how sorry your team is or your play is. It just shouldn't factor into his equation, into his thinking about his own team. So no, it was not disrespectful for Steve Kerr to do that. Stephen A., it's a lot like touchdown celebrations. You don't want him to celebrate? Don't let him in the end zone. Same thing here.